I hope you'll permit me a digression for a moment, but
Sure.
you just mentioned Bach. Of course, Bach is in the title. I know Doug Hofstadter is a great friend of yours,
Yes.
and I read your book, The Mind's Eye. But before reading, I've been thinking, I did not realize just how vital music was to your life.
Yes, it's
And
it's been it's been a wonderful part of my life.
mhm, music and sculpting both. I didn't know about sculpture either. But this is the digression. I'm curious. So obviously music, I mean Bach here, he plays a small role in From Bacteria to Bach and Back. But I'm wondering to what extent these creative extracurricular endeavors, which clearly played a big role in your social life and your creative life, but if you think that they had a big impact on your philosophy in any way, even if it was indirect.
Well, of course they did, and yes, it's indirect, but uh, let's just list off the obvious. It's beautiful. It's inspiring. It, I'm a notorious optimist, and I think that's because I've been buoyed all along by a great love of music and an appreciation of how it can lift your spirits and bring people together. And uh, I've sung in a lot of singing groups, and singing in choruses and choirs is just a joyous team effort. And unlike team sports, which are also wonderful, but you're not trying to beat anybody. You're just trying to make this beautiful thing together. And so I think ideally, an academic life should have the same spirit, the spirit of let's let's all join hands and do this together, and help each other out, and not not bitch and fight and criticize, but help people build their ideas into better ideas.
Well, you maybe I getting the wording wrong, but I think you just said singing was just a buoyant team effort, and
Yes,
maybe we'll come back to it. But I can imagine that your like deep understanding of this or feeling of this might have. I mean, this is totally speculation, but indirectly contributed to your appreciation of the importance of language, for instance, for
yeah,
mind or something
yes,
like this.
yes. Um, Language and music go together very well. Uh, and of course, some people say that uh, language is a kind of music. Well, or that music is a kind of language. Uh, there's smattering of truth in both sayings, but I think they're also profoundly different, and it's not all that useful an analogy. Uh, I have said that um, human language um, uh, and human consciousness are like it's like the relationship between human language and birdsong. Birdsong is wonderful, but you can't write poetry in birdsong, and you can't talk somebody out of something. Well, you can threaten them with birdsong, but you can't persuade them uh, to change their mind about something other than attacking you or something. Uh, but human language is a breathtakingly powerful communicative medium, and animal languages are low dimensional shadows of human language, and human animal consciousness is a low dimensional shadow of human consciousness. I think this point bothers a lot of people because they think it's being, mean or tone deaf about animals. But I think, in fact, we should face the facts and recognize that even our wonderful dogs and our dolphins and our parrots and our whales and our elephants have, compared to your average 6-year-old human being, have really impoverished consciousness. And it's a question of what can they do with it? And it's not clear that they can do the things that really matter that we do all the time with our consciousness. So when I argue, as I do, in spite of howls of disbelief coming from many quarters, that human language depends on human language to a very great degree. I'm not saying that human consciousness is just talking to yourself, although that's an important part of it, but that it's acquiring language, acquiring interpersonal communication is what creates the arena for the self-stimulation that is thinking. And you can't do much thinking until you've got that arena in your head where that can happen. And it's not the Cartesian theater, it's a place where a lot of work gets done, and it wouldn't be able to happen if you didn't have language.